Good morning, friends. Jasper from Grab Digital here. Today we're going to be breaking down this email from reMarkable, talking about their reMarkable Tablet 2. This is a company that has recently come out with this new device called the reMarkable 2, and it is a paper-like writing experience tablet. It's also very thin, as you can see. So today we're going to just talk about this email and what makes it amazing and how you can take the same practices and bring them into your own business. So I'm going to give you a first glance over at how this email looks. When you open it in your inbox, this is how it looks. Okay, now that you have a visual idea of this email's layout, I hope you had a couple of good first impressions and hopefully they can match up with mine. If I were to ask you right now, what was the impression you got from this email? Like, what is this email about initially, instinctively? Of course, the title's right here, but I'm guessing you would say something about it being a tablet. It's really thin and it's something about paper. And if I were to ask you, who is this catered toward? Based on the pictures, you probably say either younger or millennials that are have a little bit of money to play around with, somebody that can actually spend the money on this sort of tablet. It doesn't look very cheap, but it looks like it's useful for the types of people who need it. So let's break it down. First, right from the get-go, we can see this huge title, the world's thinnest tablet. This will show up right on your phone and on your desktop when you open up. This is what you see. This is what makes it great. I chose this email specifically because of several features which I'm going to discuss, but of course the logo's up here, you can see where it's from, but this title here shows up on the entire page, meaning it does not go below and it doesn't take up half the page, and it doesn't look messy at all. It's so straightforward. Second, of course, there's the branded logo and the branded fonts, and this tablet covers the middle of the page, and it just uses the copy and the design cohesively to demonstrate how thin this tablet is. You can still see the words behind it. I don't think it needs further explanation. It's just a great design. This is a little bit difficult to do for most businesses, so if you have a good design team, then this is probably what they would come up with, but this is not super important. You could even have a picture to the side if you don't want to write in the middle of the text, but this is just a fun idea of how you can bring in copy and design together. Second, notice at the top here, this top left, why thinner is better. Now, in Klaviyo and other email service providers, many times they have you put a thin text at the top, just a very, very small bit of text, which most people won't notice, and if it's a black background and you put black text, it must have shown up white here. But they do this because when you open up the email on your Gmail or Outlook, the preview text that appears often becomes this first text in the box, and you don't want to see at just 0.19 inches in your inbox. You want to see why thinner is better. It's a little bit cleaner of a segue into the email, and it provides a little bit of information. So this is a little extra step that you can do to make sure that the preview text shows up properly on your audience's email inbox. So let's continue scrolling down. Okay, first thing we see here at 0.19 inches, 4.7 millimeters, line break. reMarkable is the world's thinnest tablet. Line break. This is essential to providing a more paper line break like writing experience. Now, we're going to see some repetition here. We see world's thinnest. World's thinnest. Next, what is it compared to? Paper like. It's what's thin? Paper. Yeah, we all know this. Paper like is just a phrase of expression to show how thin something is. And furthermore, it hammers in the point because this tablet is supposed to be like paper. It's supposed to feel like paper, which is kind of cool. It's like like an e-tablet kind of Kindle. I never felt it before, but that's what it's supposed to be. Now we continue down here, and I want to highlight two things. This text here does not have to be an image. So going up, this clearly is an image, this world's thinnest tablet, and you don't want to make the whole email an image if possible, because having an email as an image will often not show up on users who do not have images enabled in their browser. It loads slower for the email. Many times the alt text doesn't match what's inside the content of the email, or people even forget to put the alt text, so this email would just appear blank, and the Gmails and Outlook service provider spam filter will often mark it as spam if it just seems too image-based, and it's just not as accessible to other readers. So, and also the last thing is, if you're trying to search for an image-based email based on the keywords, if you type in thinnest tablet, it might not even show up in your inbox because it's an image. It doesn't register as the thinnest. It has to actually be written in text, so you can actually physically highlight this text. And you'll notice that they do this in between each of the sections, which is excellent email practice. This will prevent the image from being too big of a file, and with all those previous benefits I just mentioned. Now, they space it properly with a clear headline and one simple line of writing. It might seem quite intuitive to keep a short description, but I, along with many other copywriters, like to write a ton of information on each bit of text, just trying to explain how great the product is. But in line with their branding of trying to be sweet, short, and right to the point, one sentence headline, one sentence normal text right below it. And of course, we're spaced in with pictures with similar aesthetics. And if you go down here, let's take a look at the similar styles of the text. One headline, one sentence. Okay, that's good. Next, let's look at the content of the writing. Thinner is better for writing. Thinner is better for your bag. So for your bag and for writing are two sections that would increase the value of this tablet. And if we're trying to talk about for your bag, why wouldn't they have a picture of somebody putting it in their bag? Instead, they have a picture of some young man holding it in his hand and writing on it physically like it's a notebook. Why would they do that? Now, I'll leave that to you to think about, but I think that was intentionally done. They didn't show somebody putting it in their bag. And let's go back to the content of the writing. So we see here, start right from the get-go. World's thinnest, world's thinnest. Paper-like, going down. Thinner is better. Paper thin. Next, thinner is better. Place your notebook thinner than your smart book. Every single sentence, every single headline, every single main headline has the word thinner or thinnest or paper-like in it. And you might think when you're writing this, oh, I just have to use the word thin again and again and again, like just recycling it. But it's not blatantly done. It's not so obvious when you're just reading, glancing over it, because most people just glance over these emails. So don't be afraid to drive that same message home many, many times. And I also picked this email, there's a lot of reasons, but I also picked this email because instead of being design heavy, it's relatively simple. You can do this with yourself. If you have any brand images, simply write a nice headline and keep it nice and open and not cluttered, and keep your text visible. And you'll notice that this text looks like it's about 16 font. That's a nice size font for lots of people to read. And of course, they have one crystal clear call to action here. And just in line with their branding, let me just scroll up real quick. Look at the shape of this tablet. It's rounded on the edges. And look at the shape of this call to action. It's rounded on the edges. It's meant to look like a tablet. And of course, that's the biggest contrast with this orange and the blue background. So down below, we have these sections that are, I'm guessing, at the bottom of every single email they send. So that's up to you to read some more if you're interested. But once again, this is also looks like highlightable text. You can tell it's not something that they want you to just sit down and read every single time you open this email. So hopefully you can take some of these practices home. Lots of white space, clever design from the beginning, very short sentences, keeping it sweet, showing the ultimate experience as the benefits of what the user will experience, and of course find pictures that match your audience, but that's up to your brand, and all those other things I discussed earlier today. So hopefully this was helpful, and best of luck out there on your emails. If you would like these videos, I will be here every single week showcasing some more email strategies and tactics that you can use to grow your e-commerce brand. So follow, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. But hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.